Only an hour left until you come. I've filled a roasting tray with sweet potato, red onion, courgettes, added rosemary-infused oil, dotted on some olives, sprinkled on some thyme. The wine stands open, breathing on the dresser. The table's laid with the best white linen, and in a line along the centre, I've placed every candle I can find. When the lights are out and the candles lit, the effect will be of us afloat in our own galaxy. The cloth a Milky Way of countless stars. The candles and the cutlery are points of light, white and silver. Behind us, around us, the darkness of space. The dust and gas from which we all are formed. Forget the 1st of January. Today is the true midwinter, the day of longest darkness, the very moment when the balance shifts and light begins its slow return. I know you'll laugh when you see this table. It's unusual for me to go to so much trouble to be this organised. I can be when it really matters. I've spent the weeks of your absence doing all the things I said I'd do but hadn't. I know how much rests on this one meal. 15 years of everything. You promised you'd come back tonight and eat with me. You said it would be the final time. 50 minutes is all that I have left. Remember the day we met, high on that Dorset hillside, the day of the solar eclipse. 3 celestial bodies in a row, a syzygy of earth and moon and sun. The moment the moon covered the sun, there was a vast cold. When the light was gone, the dogs began to howl the most heartbroken, desolate wailing I've ever heard animals make. And then it started, this bitter wind. I've never forgotten it, the cold that came. I've never forgotten the howling. It's only a few moments, you said. But I'd swear, even now, that time was different then. And then you smiled and said, "Isn't it great?" Already I was thinking, so this is what it will be like. And then that song started in my head, the one about the stars going out one by one. My aunt used to play that song on hot nights in Brisbane. I'd be curled up in the big black leather chair, the one her husband left behind when he left her, along with the record player and the records and the things that I could never get over. The silver shields belonging to his dead first wife, trophies for the long-ago sailing races she'd won. There were dozens of them nailed to the wall at the side of the bar under the fluorescent bulbs that bathed everything beneath them in a weird blue light. That chair was big and black, and I was still small enough to curl up in it. The air outside the open windows, warm and soft. The song playing in the darkness. My aunt saying that some nights she'd drive out to the airport and park by one of the fences, alongside the runway, and spend hours watching the planes take off. It was too dark to read the names that were written on their silver bodies, but she'd watch them and wonder where they were going, and whether one day she'd go to those places too. And the sad voice in the song would sing something about flying away, and then I couldn't stand it anymore. The leather, hot and soft and fleshy, like a black throat about to swallow me. These last few days I've been feeling that way again, like I've been sent along to my aunt's sad house, unaccompanied minor on the plane with the tag around my neck. On those journeys I'd be thinking, why am I here? I want to go home now. Why can't I go home? Except that this time it's you I want to come home. I want you to come back. What I don't get is how all these moments live inside me, one on top of the other. I mean, how can they really all fit in one head? It's only 40 years worth of stuff. What's going to happen when I'm, say, I don't know, 90? It's not like the thoughts go away. They lurk and then pop out. They unfold like some complicated bit of paper or an old list you've written on, this way and that, and have to squint at to decipher. Now I'm thinking about the time we were driving up that valley, by the river whose name means Black Destroyer. How on the gravel between its threaded waterways, on the banks between the channels, were tree trunks gnawed by its white force. How the water was dark from the leaves from the forests. How there were huge boulders on the valley floor, square as dice, scattered as if they'd fallen out of a monster's pocket. I'd promised to take you to the waterfall, remember? The glaciers were creaking and the waterfall fell from so high up that by the time it hit the ground, the water had wafted sideways, even though there was no wind to speak of. We had to tramp through fields followed by those herds of scary cows. When we reached the water, we stripped naked and jumped in. The water was so clear we could see the white stones on the bed of the pool, but when we tried to dive down, we realised it was just an illusion, and the pool was massively deep. The cold made our scalps contract, and my skin felt as though it was burning. You left your watch there on those grey rock slabs, but we didn't realise that until later, much later. Where I come from, at midwinter strange stars appear low in the sky, riding the tail of the Milky Way, that vast white streak. As soon as the stars rise, we call out the names of those we've lost in the years since they last set. The Pleiades are young in star years, so young they dwell in the dust and gas of the nebula they were born in. Still, they understand our tears. After we've shared our sorrows, we open our oven doors so that the smell of good food cooking can strengthen them, for they are cold and weak. That's what I'll do too. As soon as I see your headlights sweep the drive, onions will be sweetening, sweet potatoes softening, the spikes of rosemary for remembrance crisping, all of it touched by the wild scent of thyme. The scent will warm you, draw you in. Last year, at Brune-Bonnier, remember? You held my hand in that inner chamber, older than the pyramids. No rain had reached that place for 5,500 years. Only now I understand it. Know why the Neolithic farmers built those odd stone chambers lined up with the last midwinter light. They knew about the cold of the gone sun. They knew no matter how momentary its absence, the fear of times when the light is so dim it might almost have been extinguished. The years when the rain is ash. That's what it's like when your face turns away from me, as it's turned now. The coldness of the end of time blows in on that strange wind. Animals begin their lost howling. I'm curled up on that chair again. I'm living in a house with a dead woman's trophies. I'm driving to the airport in the dark and watching plane after plane take off into the black. Go no further from me. It's time to shake off that cloak of stars, wipe the moon's lipstick off your shoulder, and come back. I know what their lives are, the women who've lost love. I've heard them outside in the darkness beneath our windows, the rustling and quivering of their silks and satins at parties, their sad lace stretching over breasts and hips. The texts from them you glance at, half smilingly, barely read, quickly delete. When you're talking to them, back turned to me, I see their faces. Desire, fear, need. but most of all, a craving for your light. They launch their ships for you, paint their pictures for you. In you, they catch a glimpse of their one true home. By the time they smell their city burning, like the phantom Helen, you've already gone, stepping lightly across the grasslands and the plains where, for one like you, a river might rise up and speak and fight. You and your strange associations, you said, the first time you put your arm around me, pulled me close. There's no one else who'd put these things together. You leant forward, touched my cheek. No one else would ever think that we could be as one. In a moment, I'll hear the car. The first beams from your headlights will reach my waiting house. Let's go back to the waterfall. It's the kind of place where the right gesture, well meant, might confer on us something approaching immortality. That watch of yours was good quality. Its battery was supposed to last 1,000 years. The next time, I won't lose heart. No matter how cold the water, no matter how deep the pool, no matter how much the cold burns my skin or the pressure pushes the air from my lungs, I won't give up. I'll dive right to the bottom of that clear water, over and over and over. I'll grab fistfuls of those luminous white stones we once saw shining there, and, while you lie back on hot grey rocks, queen that you are, I'll cover you with stars.